Shalom and thank you for joining me. I praise the Most High God Yahweh for what He has prepared for you, His holy chosen people, and the world. And the reason He wanted me to do this video, and He gave this earth-shaking, groundbreaking revelations of truth. He said because He wanted me to give it to a holy people, His humble people, because He knows that when you receive it, He will get the glory and the honor and not the world. You know, the world always tries to make like they're investigating things and finding out mysteries and unraveling. And the first thing they do is label it as theirs, put their name on it. God gets no glory or honor. Even the creation, we know that to be true. So I'm going to first give you a little quick outline. This first part will be about the universe and before the universe was created. And what the Most High revealed to me is amazing. And you will be amazed. It will be something you've never heard of before, but it will be the truth. And truth always touches us in a certain way and confirms within our heart and soul that it is the truth. So right now, I'm going to get started. I don't like to take a long time, so I'm sure you've been waiting for it. So here it goes. Okay. First of all, NASA is totally wrong. NASA, we're talking about NASA, you know, the space agency who go up in rockets and say they make discoveries. And, you know, a lot of it is hypothesis and a lot of it's based on mathematics. So they really don't understand how the universe came to be. And that's why you hear a lot about the Big Bang, Big Bang. That makes it easier to sort of shift and say nothing was behind all of this order of the universe. But we know, and even the definitions of universe and cosmos in the dictionary tells you it is an orderly, ordered place. And even one definition says it through a divine force. So even though a lot of these agencies try to take that power and authority and that giving God the credit away, everything you look at, everything you see visibly is in order. And only someone behind something can make order. Sort of like a car. If we had never seen a car before and we looked at it and in all the order and the intricate ways this car is put together to drive. And then somebody says, you know, that had to have been some like an explosion that blew that all together or else that car wouldn't be there. We know that someone had to have a mind and put things in order to operate. Now, I'm going to go on from that. So, the first thing we want to say is NASA and scientists are wrong, truly wrong. And I think they know, but they go on, you know, researching and hoping to confirm what they think versus what you can just see. Okay. Okay, so on April 27, 2022, only a few weeks ago, the Most High started to visiting me, giving me these revelations at night. And the first thing I saw was He showed me the universe. But it's as if He took me way outside the universe to see it. And so from this far position, it seems like I was suspended in space. I'm looking at the universe, and it's actually in a enclosure, sort of like a sphere. And it is, I could see that the reflection of it seemed like it's almost like crystal or glass. You could see through it. You could see all the galaxies. You could see the stars, the moon, all kind of things going on in this universe. But it is in an enclosed area. And you're going to see the picture. I'm going to put that up, you know, during the video. Okay. So looking back in the distance, as I'm far, far away, looking back in the distance at this universe that's enclosed in what I would consider a vault. I call it a vault. And, you know, even in the Bible, when it tells you in Genesis that when God created the universe, He put a vault between the heavens where he dwells and the earth. So when we look up and see the sky, it was said to be like a vault. Enclosed, and the ancients said it was solid, and which it is, but it's not just a vault, it's a complete enclosed chamber, and that holds all of these things within it. So at the very top of this vault, and you're going to see it, like I said, these pictures, if you'll notice, it's at the very top, it's like a tent. And this white, brilliantly bright tent is at the very top of this vault-like chamber, where all the universe is below, inside. And I'm going to show this picture while I'm sitting here, but you're going to be able to see it. I tried to paint it the best I could. And if you'll see or notice that I put at the bottom some things that I'm going to explain to you. So, outside of this universe is nothing. There's nothing. It's this totally black tapestry, of what looked like a tapestry to me, but later he would explain what that was. As far as the eye could see, black tapestry stretching into infinity. And behind this enclosure, nothing. No stars, no moon, no what is it? No kind of, created objects. None at all. It's nothing. It's void. Only inside this sphere that I call the vault chamber is where the universe and everything in it exists. So I was amazed as I'm looking at this thing, even while I'm in dreaming in this thing, sleep. I can feel the freedom of not being inside the universe anymore. It's totally a different experience. I can't explain it, but it feels so good and so detached from all the things that goes along with what we consider gravity and matter. Okay, so I started trying to find out things. So I asked him some questions right away the next day. I asked him, what is this dark tapestry outside, all in every direction, nothing but black, dark? And he called it the helos. I think he gave me a word so that I would understand exactly what it was in a human perspective. So I had to go look up helos. I was like, what is a helos? I looked up helos, and it says the helos is a marsh-like, so it's like marsh-like land, marsh-like. In the sense of fertile marsh. In marshes, all kind of things can grow, all kind of plants. And that's a place where, everything can sprout up, and everything. So in this case, though, I see that he's saying it's a fertile marshland. Okay. This is the way he described it to me in a simple way. Okay. Then he goes on to explain that what he calls it also, and what it really is, he gave me a word to give me sort of a concept of understanding, but what it really is, he said, is plasma. This vast, endless space where this mass is called plasma. And if you're like most of us, well, I'm from the older generation, when someone says plasma, the first thing you think of is like, oh, a plasma TV, right? Okay. But also I had to go look that up to get a more understanding and connect with what the Most High God, Yahweh, was saying. And this plasma is what this whole, what we just call the helos, is made out of. It's pure plasma, and it's fluid. It's more or less like a fluid, but a solid at the same time. That was hard for me to understand. It's fluid, but it's a solid at the same time. And possibly, I thought maybe perhaps it's heated, and that's why it's sort of similar to a fluid. So in the days following this, when he gave me those first bits of information and started to explain the rest of it, how the universe came about, how he came forth. I was telling him, I'm like, it's a little hard for me to understand. After a while, your mind is sort of hard to absorb it all without getting a little, confused. And so, just like a good father, he put it in this easy way of understanding. He would give me examples sometime if I couldn't understand. So he began to reveal this to me, the intricate details of creation. And here's the way it went. During this process, there was times, like I said, when I didn't understand, but he would help me understand. Yahweh said this, okay, man is wrong in his understanding. The universe did not come about through a big bang. No, he said, when I pierced this dark living matter, this pure eternal matter called the helos, he calls the helos, it was not a bang, he said. It was a quiet and peaceful like a melody, like a sweet, peaceful conversation between two people. It was a request and at the same time a command. So, as he's saying this, some things are coming to my mind. Oh yeah, he said, when he said, let there be light, he's actually, of course, this happened 2 or 3 times. We read in Genesis about God saying, let there be light. But later I'm going to explain to you that Genesis is not complete. He showed me that they took parts out of that, stripped it down, and left a lot out. And in some cases, they merged 2 stories together, making one. And I'm going to show you how you can figure that out. But that's going to be later. Okay. Hopefully I'll get it in this video, but it might be a, successive video. Okay. So he said, basically, in the beginning, I came forth as pure light, eternal pure light. Now remember, this light is a power as well. It's not just light like you shine a flashlight. This is power, because remember, the word says Yahweh is 10 times brighter than the sun. So he said this, and it was so touching. He said, I purposed in my heart to build a world, what you call a universe, a house to stay together as a family. He explained that this light produces life. This light has an essence. This light could think. In other words, when he's talking about it in the second person, but he's referring to himself. Because you have to understand, before this light started creating matter, it had to join to become matter itself. Matter. We're made out of matter. Everything's solid from this chair, and everything you can see is made out of matter. So, but you must realize there was a process. Okay, so this is awesome. This is earth-shaking revelations of truth that perhaps the ancients knew, but over time, because of man and his jealousy and wicked deceptions, he tried to crowd God out of the creation process, making science the God that everyone looks to for truth and revelations. But no. This God is the one who did it all. And I'm going to continue to share this with you. Okay. So he said, this light has an essence. This light could think. It has always been and always will be. You know how the Bible says, Yahweh Most High always was and always will be. This is true. Okay. To create, in other words, to create matter, things that are solid, this light needed what we call matter. We call it matter. He calls it the plasma. Okay. And this plasma outside the universe is different than the plasma that makes up the solid objects inside this chamber, the universe. Okay. Now, before I start going on about this matter, this helos, I'm going to explain a little bit more about the light, this powerful, eternal light that can travel throughout universes, throughout time, wherever it wants to travel, it is, and that's what Yahweh is. Okay. Light can produce sound. Light produces energy. Light is pure energy. In addition to being a particle, what they call a photon, light is also a wave. So a light can travel like a wave, but it still be in the same place, but it can travel like a wave. That's why light can go through everything. Glass, light can travel through space. Light isn't limited by matter. Okay, so this allows, through this wave, this allows it to carry momentum, travel. Therefore, it is energy without mass. So this light, that's why, I'll explain it in small terms like explain me. That's why people, or in the word, maybe when an angel came to visit them, he sat, he talked, he ate, but then maybe he just, in one instance, it said he disappeared up into the flames when they gave him an offering. He just, because he changed from matter back to light. And remember, light can travel. Light has momentum. Light has energy. So remember, God is the ultimate of all of the light. Okay, so then on the other hand, let's get to mass and matter, that helos. Okay, this matter that you saw outside the picture was nothing but darkness, nothing created, no moons, no stars, no galaxies, nothing. Is the helos, is the matter. Okay. It's described, matter is described as a coherent, typically large body of matter with no definite shape. So this is what he was calling that plasma, that black tapestry that I said I saw when he allowed me to see this in the dream. As I told you earlier, the plasma-like substance, and within this plasma is mass and all the building blocks. But this helos is also self-aware. And we must understand this mass outside is self-aware. It is eternal. It is pure, has no evil, no darkness. Even though it's dark, it has no evil or darkness. We have been taught to confuse a color. Notice the black chair over there. It's black. Notice the couch. It's a tan color. We have been taught to confuse a color with a energy, a dark energy, an evil force. Evil isn't always dark. Actually, the dark is where evil hides because it doesn't like the light. The light is, it injures it. It's hard for it to look at. So we must understand that the color black is not evil. It's what hides in a dark space that's void of light that's evil. It's an entity, a thing that hides in there. Remember how it says for your children, it says discipline your children. If you discipline them like with a rod, they won't die. It said don't be a willing party to their death. The spirit, watch this, listen carefully. The spirit of folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod drives it out. So that tells you, oh yeah, okay, I see. Darkness is a spirit. It's meaning, when it's meaning a spirit of evil, people call it darkness. That just means the person is no longer have that light in them, that evil has crept in. And like I said, a color is not evil. And that's why Satan tried to blend these two things together. Even it tells you in the word sometimes that God resides in the thickness, the dark thickness, the cloud. When he came down on Mount Sinai, it says he came down in a dark cloud as a covering. So we must separate these two misnomers so that we can move forward in understanding how God operates. Evil is not with God in no way, no form. Now, let's go on. Like I said, this eternal living matter called the helos appears dark. It is pure, but it's sedimentary. I told you about the light, Yahweh Most High. Now I'm telling you about the mass or the matter that was there before the creation of the universe. And you're going to understand how the universe come about. Okay. This dark, eternal, living, pure matter, the helos, is sedimentary. It has no desire to move, change, or grow anything. Like I said, it's self-aware. It has an essence. It can communicate with the Most High, but it wanted to lay, still. It didn't want to be bothered. Okay. It is inactive or stationary. It did not want to be disturbed. This Helos can also communicate. It does not die or ever decay. And really think about it. That's what eternity is. Eternity, or an eternal being, is something that never dies, never decays, never rots like things on earth. And actually, these things wouldn't have happened on earth if it had not been for Satan deceiving Adam and Eve and causing a shift in the earth and its atmosphere. Okay, now think of these two. There are two now. God is always God. He is the light. But you have this Helos that is pure matter. Now, these two are opposites of each other because I just described it. She's a feminine, he's a masculine. She lays quiet. She doesn't want to be bothered. She just likes being, and she stretches on into infinity, into eons of time. There's nothing. The one wants to be still. The other wants to produce, generate, regenerate, and give life. Each one had what the other needed. Yah had the power, and Helos had the plasma, had the massive matter that contained all the building blocks. All right. I hope I'm giving you, all the information the way I wanted, the way the Most High wanted me to. Okay, this tapestry of pure living matter agreed. Oh, I hope I didn't jump the gun. Hold on a minute. I might have jumped the gun a little bit. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I got ahead of myself a little bit. Okay, this is what the Most High continued to explain me. Now remember, this was over the course of several days. Explaining things to me, me asking a lot of questions, sometimes, having to slow down and take it another day. Okay, this, he said, is the Helos. All right, now let me go on. Okay, this tapestry, of course, is pure living matter. Yahweh as light pierced this Helos. He pierced it. He, just like I said, when he said, let there be light, in Genesis, that wasn't the first time. And if you notice when he said, let there be, it's almost like a request, but it's also a command. So in the beginning, though, he requested and commanded to this Helos, this living matter, to allow him to pierce it so that it becomes moving matter. It becomes animated. All right, so watch this. Yahweh as light pierced it, like the dark of night is pierced by the dawn. You first see a small glimmer of light. Then the light grows brighter and brighter until the light of day. In this case, however, a fusion occurred. Out of this fusion, God Yahweh spoke and created his own three-dimensional body. Now remember, he always was, he always will be. But at this point, perhaps what science would call billions and billions more, longer than we could even count, this is what happened. So a fusion occurred. Out of this fusion, Yah God spoke then and created a three-dimensional body. The second thing that Yahweh Most High created was, by this union, was gravity. So you got him, now he has a three-dimensional body, but he can go out of that body, in and out, anytime he wants. That is how I just told you angels can come and sit down and have a conversation and eat. You've read it throughout the Bible, and then yet be like light and gone, because they have that power to change back and forth. And that's how the power came about. Amazing. Okay, so once he created gravity, after creating his own three-dimensional body, and this light resides in this three-dimensional body, or he can go out and do other things. Then let's put it like this. Light and mass and what took place are God's designs for humans. So if you read in the Word, it always says, well, in a lot of different places, that God created things by pairs, by twos. And it says, the way he says he created everything in pairs of opposites. This became a part of his universal law because it began with him and the Helos. He always was, he always will be, but he came together with the Helos and created matter, or began to use matter to create the universe. And so this pattern of these two beautiful things coming together, each having something that the other needed, hallelujah, is marriage. It's a prototype of what humans would have in marriage. But in this case, it's a fusion of celestial essences coming together, working together. But of course, Yahweh Most High is the masculine. He's the dominant power, force, and source. And the feminine was this Helos. Okay, so let me try to stay on track here. It's a lot, but we'll try to stay on track. So in his design later on, as he's designing the universe, he uses this, this beautiful design and this beautiful melody, as he said, to weave its way throughout the creation. Everything is created in pairs. And so like our eyes, we have a pair of eyes. Our ears, we have a pair of ears. We have a pair of arms. We have a pair of legs. Everything he created, he took and said, you know what, I'm going to, in memory of what was done before in eons ago, I'm going to put it inside all of my creation. Okay, like the sun and the moon, that's a pair. They work conjunctively together. Okay. This is why husbands are to complete, when they find a wife, they are to complete the wife, and the wife is to complete the husband. Each has something, with the idea that each has something that the other needs. Isn't that beautiful? This is also why everything with mass has a gravitational pull. Like night and day, sun and moon. Everything has a gravitational pull that's made out of mass. And that's why we're made out of mass. We're made out of matter, which has mass. And that's why we like being around other people. We're drawn to other people. It's just a part of what God put in our DNA. He put a lot of things in our DNA. And as I go on, I'm going to try to explain to you how this matches up with who we are, what we are, and why we have the emotions and the thinkings that we do before Satan intervened and caused a lot of negative things. Yahweh said he then prepared a place in the Helos. Now remember that round circle I tried to draw for you with this great tent up at top. This is the heavens. Everything else is the universe. The universe is not forever expanding. It is not like a limited space. I know science has told you that, but that's not true. The universe is within this sphere. It does not go on forever. Okay, so here's what he said. He said, the Helos he then prepared a place in the Helos. That was the sphere. In the heaven, and the heavens, made the heavens, and the universe and the cosmos within it. All of this work took place inside this vault-like chamber. Heaven, his holy dwelling place, he placed on top, spreading it out like a tent, literally like a tent, a cap on the chamber. Now, if you notice in the Word of God, it actually, and it was amazing. After he was telling me these things, he would take me back later to the Bible, what we read all the time, but I'd realize, oh, exactly. It says in the Word that the heavens is spread out like a tent. And I'm going to see later, in my next video, I'll give you some scripture references to that. So once his eternal light was placed inside of matter, that fusion I just told you about, it is a perpetual burn. That's why it says he's 10,000 times brighter than the sun, because even though now he's in matter, He's created the heavens, which has a foundation. It's a perpetual burn. And that's why that light is at the top of this universe, always continuing to burn. And you know, even in the Bible, it tells you at the end of time, the Most High is going to come back to the earth, placing New Jerusalem over the old place. And there won't be any need any longer for the sun and the moon, because he will be the actual light. That makes sense, doesn't it? So it says he is a perpetual burning, a continued purification. That's why God told Moses to take off his shoes when he was in the burning bush that never burnt up. You are on holy ground. He told him he's on holy ground because this burning purifies everything it touches. And in my book, The Stone Rejected, it picks up later on. This revelation he just gave me about the universe and everything is not in the book, but it connects later on with what happened in the universe before, you know, Adam and Eve and all that stuff. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that later too. Okay, this is how the stars are made to burn also. Understand, they have part of the Most High's powerful light, yet they are matter, the stars and the planets. And so the stars burn. They burn like he burns because he put part of that within their, what we call, you know, substance or celestial being. This is how the stars are made to burn, but they never burn up. That's why Yahweh flung the stars burning into space. You know, he's so grand and he's so large and so high that he could just take stars, make them, and then fling them into space. And I think somewhere in the word it says he flung the stars into space. Okay, watch this. And they burn perpetually. And watch this. You know they're burning because astronauts who went up into space, here's what they said. Astronauts says when they went outside, you know, doing spacewalks or whatever, went outside the spacecraft and came back in, the one that was inside, still in the spacecraft, said that the suit of the one that was outside the spacecraft smelled like sweet metal burning, like you would be burning in a metal shop. You know, that sweet smell of that burning metal. And that's what's happening. The universe is ablaze with burning stars to light up the universe. And so there in another place, it says those two great lights. And sometimes you hear science, and like I said, they do a lot of hypotheses, educated guesses. But right now you're getting the true reality of it all. They say that a lot of planets are gases. No. All planets are matter. You might see layers of gas or something surrounding them, and it could go, you know, thousands of feet deep, but all of them are matter. And that's how they can, through gravity, go around the sun, or in other galaxies go around larger objects. Everything is made out of this supernatural matter infused with Yahweh's power and essence. Okay. So we all have this spark of this fire enclosed in matter. We're matter, but as you know, we all have a spark of life. And this spark gives us our being. So that's the same thing applies to us, but it's on a smaller scale than stars. We have this light within us. And how bright this light burns depends on our belief in God, Yahweh, and his son, Yeshua. We are born with his breath and his knowledge through this light. Now, we're all born having some of this light, but how we can make this light grow within us is how close we come to the Most High. This light and this flame grows lighter. That's why it says, you know, within God Most High, Yahweh is light and no darkness is in him. So we have this light, but this light can be quenched if we allow sin and darkness, meaning wickedness, to enter us. we can continually quench this light to the point we no longer have anything. And so people start operating in evil, carrying out wicked, evil things, killing, murdering, because the light has been blown out by darkness. Okay. Now, Satan lost his light. Remember how the word says that he was full of wisdom and light until wickedness, darkness, that's that other darkness, was found in him. Darkness is not the color black. Darkness is a living, evil force. Now, it says darkness was found in him. Now, this darkness is chaos. And it causes chaos. It causes confusion. It only destroys because the eternal light is out. People confuse the two. And I just explained that. This eternal light is literally life. Yahweh is light, and in him there is no darkness. Remember, I just said that's what the word says. This light brings understanding, wisdom, and right thinking. God's laws were and are an expression of this light. Without it, there is only chaos. So when someone tells you that the laws were nailed to the cross with Yahshua HaMashiach, which that's not what the word says. The word says sin was nailed to the cross with Yahshua HaMashiach. The laws were never nailed to the cross, because that's a lie. How can you say it was nailed to the cross? The laws were destroyed when Yahshua HaMashiach himself said, not one dot, not one tittle will be removed from the law until the kingdom comes. So these men, these priests trained up in these seminary schools are basically bold-faced lies coming out of their mouths. And I put that is also in the book, how this was used by Satan to free everyone up to just sin. But as people sin, it brings more darkness into the earth, more wickedness, causing man to die earlier, causing things to decay quicker, causing a lot of things to happen that would not happen if the light was allowed to live in all of us. Okay, so God's laws were and are an expression of this light. Without it is only chaos. And you can see the world is falling down into pure chaos because they've tried their best to root out the light. Of course, God left his holy chosen people as like little conduits to hold that light in. But of course, they have been trampled under, overpowered by the force of darkness, who taught them error, and they lost power. And now the world is slumping down into chaos, falling into chaos. So gravity being the foundation of the universe, that's how all of these planets and stars and galaxies were put into place. Now, he used this functional animated super matter that we call the helos, that now is functional matter because it's joined in with the living light, which was Yahweh Most High. So now it's functional. It's not just laying barren, not wanting to move, not wanting to do anything. Now it's functional. And actually, in the ancient text, when it says, Yahweh said, let there be light, whatever he created after he said that, he actually said, he saw it as functional. Some Bible, most European Bibles says he saw that it was good. Yes, he said that, but he also said that he saw that it was functional. In other words, operational. They wanted to take certain words out of the Bible because it gave your understanding that this God was not just some spirit floating around in space, that this God was a living, breathing creator who saw things the way and built things the way he wanted it, complete in the beginning. Man didn't start out a monkey. Everything God created was complete in the beginning. Man tried to manipulate it, and we'll talk about that later on too, perhaps in the second video version of this. Now, okay, so this functional animated supermatter that's now infused with his spirit and this light, he used to create heaven, the universe, and endless possibilities. angels, trees, plants, animals, and eventually humans. Within the DNA of these his creation was always seeds. He always put the seed of whatever he created within the creation so that it could go ahead and be perpetual, which makes it eternal because it's continually recreating itself. Now, of course, that changed a little bit. Instead of man living eternally by eating that tree of life, the fruit from that tree of life, and producing eternally, now man is limited to time. Okay. So we became basically co-creators with the master, the God, the king of the universe. Let's see, what else? Because of this super infused matter, his creations were also eternal beings. And you must understand, in this universe, there's time, but above in that heavens where the tent is, it's pure matter, which doesn't decay, doesn't grow old, that makes it eternal. Nothing dies, nothing changes. Trees don't die. The beauty of heaven never dies. Those living in heaven never dies. It's not because they're just spirits now. No, it's because the matter that was on earth was limited because of the fall. And so when a person dies, man or woman dies, who is connected to the light, the Most High God, Yahweh, what happens is that limited matter is taken off and that supernatural, unlimited matter is put on. A new body, but one that doesn't decay, one that doesn't die. Think about it. If nothing ever died on earth, nothing ever decayed, you would be eternal. See, it's sort of simple. Time is not really a thing. Time is only when things decay, change, or die. Think about it. If the day never ended and night it never came, and you never grew old, there would not be any such thing as time. You see how it works? Now, that's a little complicated, but hopefully you got it. Okay. God, Yahweh's plan was to seed the universe with living stars, people who burn with his light inside. That was his plan. Earth was like the flagship. It was the first of its, of the inhabited kind. Remember, he created all kind of planets, all kind of stars, but Earth was the first flagship that he created so that he could put life on it. And this life would be like stars too. Like the stars are burning, he flung them into space. And these this human creation that he created has this light in it. So it's like lights, living lights, little lights all over the earth. That was his plan. Now humans don't all walk in with that light inside. Many of them are dark and evil, and that's why they like to go out at night and do evil things. They don't like the day, just like wickedness doesn't like the day or light. Okay. But Satan's scheme through jealousy, his insane jealousy. I mean, when we say jealousy, I don't think we even comprehend how hateful and jealous he is of God and his creation, human beings. He has an insane jealousy. He sought out to copy, reproduce everything God had created, or take the credit for it. Science does that, doesn't it? They take the credit for everything. They have been naming so-called inventions, so-called discoveries for the last couple of hundred years after themselves. God is nowhere in the mix. So we know that that means that Satan is a part of this, and therefore those who serve him are also a part of it, a collusion of dishonoring God, Yahweh Most High, taking out the credit, not giving him any glory for his creation, not even walking in his creation, living, breathing his good air, as I always say, not even giving him the credit for that. That is what Satan does. Okay, so no credit, giving him no credit, undermine. And that's why he wanted to seduce and trick Adam, seduce Eve, trick Adam, because he did not want these created intelligent humans to rule the earth, the planet that he once had authority over before they were created. And that's it also in the book. Many of you have gotten the book, so you sort of understand what I'm saying because you can put it together with what you've already read in the book. The book tells how before Adam and Eve, the old earth which held the dinosaurs and all the giant beasts, which were not on the same scale size as humans, was ruled over by Lucifer before he fell. So this was a new world. It had gigantic beasts on the size and scale almost of angels. And of course, they can be a lot larger because they live in the heavens, but on the scale that was in the earth. And that's where you get scientists saying, well, there was dinosaurs, hundreds of thousands, millions of years ago. Yes, it was. But humans were not existing at that time. This was long before humans. Humans replaced Lucifer. And in the book, the chapter called The Fall of an Angel, it describes how he was a obedient angel full of light. He was given authority over this new earth, and the angels that he commanded were given authority. And what they did is they undermined God's authority, oppressed, destroyed, and molested the animals, and God had to destroy it. So that's a part that I'll probably try to touch on again. So what Satan did, and this is the key that I'm going to stop at, because after this, I'm going to tell you what Lucifer, Satan, did to interrupt this process of God wanting to see the whole universe with his living light, his creation, his living sons and daughters. So what happened is, after the fall, Satan became the governor. And so he took this authority, or he, seduced Eve and produced Cain, and then tricked Adam through Eve. And so he became the governor again of this earth. And his plan was to seed the universe with his creations. But these are altered, unbinary hybrids, chimeras, beings that he's taken, seeds from humans, mixed and mingled and made all kind of hybrids. There's really no such thing as aliens. These beings that people sometimes say they see in crafts and coming and going, they are actually the hybrids, the chimeras that Satan used and created from human DNA. Satan cannot create life because life comes from light, which is Yahweh. He can't create. But what he can do is he can manipulate God's creation and make it into something. Think of Frankenstein. It's basically that. Taking living organisms, eggs, the male sperm, taking animals and mixing and mingling them together, making basically creatures that have no God center, no light, created these beings. And what his plan is to seed them throughout the universe. He wanted to usurp God's plan and replace it with his own evil, wicked schemes. And I'm going to stop right there because on the next part, I'm going to tell you what's going on in the earth with these creatures and how we have been inundated with them without knowing it. And everything that's happening around you, this homosexual agenda, this falling down of the moral code, all of these things are part and parcel of the European Gentiles working in collusion with these creatures, these hybrids. And from now on, I will try to call them creatures, because when you say that other word, people start thinking, oh yeah, okay, alien, okay, right. No. There is no intelligent life in the universe that started out there and came here. No. There are hybrids, chimeras that were created from human DNA and travel to those other places and come back here and make their base in certain places in the earth. And therefore, we're sort of like subjected to their schemes, because our leaders are part and parcel, and they weave their way into human existence. So like I said, I'm going to stop here and give you some more information that the Most High God wants me to give to you, so that you will be prepared for what's coming up ahead. May you be blessed. I should be coming with the next part. Hopefully I will have it up today with this part, but look for it. May you be blessed. May Yahweh give you wisdom and counsel and guidance to hear from him, to confirm what I've told you. Thank you again for joining me.